Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Explain This. I'm with the star of the show, Robin Riddle. Robin, how's it going?
Doing great. How about you?
I'm excited to be here. Love being in real life doing these shows. And today's topic is one that I think we're going to get a mixed reaction from.
Probably.
We have, I'm sure, huge advocates of this and huge advocates against this.
Yes.
This is something that I grew up a lot with, being in a household where there's two type 1 diabetics.
Yeah.
And of course, guys, I'm talking about diet soda. So, Robin, explain to us diet soda, what your thoughts are, and educate us on it.
So let me hop up on my little soapbox here for a few minutes. So I know diet sodas are a huge industry. In 2020, it was $11.2 billion in diet sodas were sold in the U.S. alone. So it's a huge industry. Now, of course, now they're not calling them diet as often because you get the millennials and the Gen Zs who don't want diet.
Oh, yep.
So now it's zero sugar. So a lot of things are saying zero sugar now. Same thing, talking about the same thing. There is no difference between the two.
Interesting.
And a lot of people do this as a way to they think they're trying to be healthier. They're trying to reduce their calorie intake. They're trying to reduce their sugar intake. There's not enough education out there about what's really happening whenever you switch over to these diet or sugar-free alternatives.
Okay.
Most of them are sweetened with aspartame or sucralose is your most common additives that are non-sugar. They're like 600 times sweeter than sugar. Like they are chemically altered forms.
Okay.
And like I said, there's not enough education about what the real deal is about this.
Can I ask you real quick, why do people associate Diet Coke, diet soda in general as being healthier than the real thing? Is it just a calorie intake or
calories? Because you look on the back of a Coke and it's like 160 or 200 calories for a regular Coke, and then you look on the back of a Coke Zero and we've got no calories, we've got no sugar. So I see people do it all the time. Oh, I'm trying to lose weight, so that's a way to cut calories. I'm going to tell you why that's wrong.
Let's do it.
Okay, so big things that are happening whenever you're ingesting this aspartame, sucralose, these diet sodas, zero sugar, whatever. And this applies across the board to anything that says zero sugar on it. But today I'm focusing on sodas. Anyways, so lots of negative health effects coming out of these artificial sweeteners. One, altered gut health. This literally attacks and destroys the microbiome of your gut. They've shown this time and time again in studies done on rats. Don't know why it's not out there more, but it's destroying your gut health. Gut is one of the number one things that we talk about. I mean, Dr. Rogers was just saying the other day, that's one of the first things he asks people about. How's your gut?
Yep.
Gut health relates to a ton of other things, which I'll get into more. Decreased bone mineral density. We're literally leaching the calcium out of our bones drinking diet sodas.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's studies out there. I can show you all of them. There's an increased risk of cardiovascular disease with this. Increased risk of metabolic syndrome, which is insulin resistance, weight gain, type 2 diabetes. And that's the people who tend to drink diet sodas are the ones that are leading into that. Like, hey, your blood sugar's too high. You need to cut your sugar intake. So they switch to diet, complicating the picture. It's not helping anything. It's still leading us down that same road. Diet sodas actually will stimulate hunger. So you typically end up eating more calories. You end up taking in more than you would if you were drinking a regular soda.
Okay.
Or water, which, let's switch over to that. Increased risk of cancers. There are multiple cancers that have been associated with these artificial sweeteners.
Now, does that, I mean, and I'm sure you've said this before, you might have already said it today, but does that have something with the body's reaction? The body thinks it's sugar, but it's not. And that being the negative?
It goes through this whole big long, I tried for this, I really wanted to find a simple way to explain it.
Yeah.
And there's no simple way to explain it, but it's the process that it goes through when it thinks that it's sugar, but it's not sugar, and what it does to the liver and how it processes through the gut and all the other chemicals that are sent out. We're messing with the biochemistry of the body. We're giving it things that it should never have had. We're not made to have this type of artificial thing going into our bodies. Cancers, mood disorders. And this kind of links back to the gut, which I think I've talked about previously, but a lot of your serotonin is made in your gut. So if your gut microbiome is altered, if we don't have a happy stomach, we don't have a happy brain. So we're leading to a lot of mood disorders, anxiety, depression, things like that can stem from drinking diet sodas.
That is so wild to me.
And then increased risks of stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's. So nobody, if you had to like sign off on that before you started drinking your diet sodas, nobody's going to be like, yes, this is what I want. I want increased risk of cancer and heart disease and Alzheimer's and stroke. But they don't, that's not how it's advertised. That's not how it's talked about. That's a whole nother subject. So anyways, so blood sugar. We think that drinking diet sodas were not affecting our blood sugar levels because it doesn't have sugar in it, but that's not actually the case. And it's different between aspartame and sucralose. So with aspartame, it doesn't, in the short term, spike your blood sugar or your insulin levels. If you draw those blood levels, drink a diet soda sweetened with aspartame, and draw those blood levels again, those are not going to alter.
Okay.
What happens with aspartame is in the long term, repeated consumption, again, damages the gut microbiome, which leads to insulin resistance through the change in the cells in the microbiome of the gut.
Got it. And
So
that's a long-term.
That's a long-term thing. So if
Okay.
you drink one diet soda sweetened with aspartame, you're not going to develop insulin resistance, but that's not what people are doing. People are drinking these for years, and it is leading to insulin resistance.
Yes.
Now, sucralose, on the other hand, it actually creates what's called a cephalic phase insulin release. So when you first drink it, you taste that sweet, your brain thinks that sugar is coming, so it will trigger a release of insulin in the body, but sugar never hits. The sugar, the glucose, the sugar never comes because it's not in there. So we've just spiked our insulin levels without that insulin having anything to do.
And I think that's what I was trying to interpret
Associate,
in
yeah.
my brain. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so insulin levels go up because your brain thinks that sugar is coming because it tastes sweet.
Yes.
But then the sugar never arrives, so the insulin doesn't have a job, so the insulin goes and tries to find something else to do, which generally is make you hungry and store up fat in your cells.
Yes. Okay. So
Yes.
fascinating.
Yeah. So other random side effects that this can have, for men, diet soda consumption actually can reduce sperm counts and lead towards fertility issues.
Okay.
Pregnant women, when you're pregnant, you got to think about the baby too. Increased risk of preterm labor and increased BMI in the infant. So we're literally setting the next generation up to have weight issues just by drinking diet sodas when you're pregnant.
Wow.
In young girls, it's leading to precocious puberty, which is early onset, like 8, 9, 10 years old, when it shouldn't be happening, which again, that sets them up for a whole host of issues later on in life. And it depletes our glutathione levels. That is the mother of all antioxidants. That is the antioxidant that we want in our body. That leads to a whole host of issues. ADD, ADHD has been linked with low glutathione levels, oxidative stress in the body, which again, then when you have increased oxidation, we're leading to cancer. It's a whole big circle that connects. So
that's just wild to me. And what's interesting is that people who typically drink diet sodas, they don't just have one a day.
No.
It is
you have like
throughout
a
the day.
case a day.
Yes.
So the point I want to get across to people in this is, even if you're doing this trying to be healthier, trying to reduce your sugar intake, trying to reduce your calorie intake, you're getting too many negative effects from this. This is not actually helping health. If we're wanting to help health, what we need to do is get away from all of these, get away from sodas in general.
Yeah.
And I don't expect people who are drinking a pack a day of a diet soda to immediately stop drinking it. But slowly start tapering off of this. Get rid of this out of your diet. Start replacing with water. You can do flavored waters. Add fruit to your water, cucumbers, lemon, thing like that. It's probably doesn't taste quite as good, but overall, that's long-term what's going to be better for your health.
Yeah, and I've never seen anything impact someone's weight in particular as quickly as just cutting out the sodas first.
Yes.
It tends to be the
Absolutely.
easiest and quickest thing.
Yeah.
So, Robin, thank you for debuffing. Is it debuffing?
Debunking?
Debunking.
Debunking. There we go.
Debunking the diet soda myth, if it is a myth anymore.
Yeah.
So thank you for explaining that to us.
Absolutely.
Guys, you guys name it, we explain it. Today's episode has been on diet sodas and why you should stay away from them. As always, we'll see you guys next time.
Don't go away.